is Faye Mata, the voice of Aqua from Konosuba. I give my blessings to the CFG Gamecast in exchange for your eternal devotion.
Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 22, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and Sundays and release it on podcast services like Gapple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. So show us some love and follow us on our Twitch channels to not miss an episode. You can check me out on CFG Games, where we play a lot of variety games and such. Unfortunately, Smitty and Flexiss are out. Smitty went out to Twitchcon to live it up, and Flexiss is out doing something else here. So it's just me and some two special guests that I like to introduce. I am Davis Green with CFG Games, and this time on the second seat, I have an amazing Tekken player who competes in big tournaments such as Evo. I have Bree, aka QTPyeX. How are you doing?
Great, thank you for having me.
Oh man, I gave a nice intro. You don't seem like you're hyped. Come on, you got to get hyped on this. It's pretty good.
Nervous.
You're not. Don't know. Nothing to be nervous about at all. It's all good. It's just definitely good. So how's so are you still playing some more Tekken? Have you mastered that game yet?
Definitely haven't mastered it, but hoping I can grow before my next few tournaments and hopefully make it out of pools.
Okay. Oh, well, that's good. That's all you can ask for. And who do you main?
Seriously.
Who do you main mostly?
I play Josie.
Josie.
I'm a character loyalist. Just Josie.
There's nothing wrong about that. But thanks for coming on for the show. And as well, I have the director of Greenlit Content for E-sports. I got Brian on the third seat. How are you doing, buddy?
Not too bad, man. How is your evening going?
Thank
you also for having me.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'm doing good, man. Well, besides the insane issues that I was having with the audio, that's why we were an hour late. It was good. Other than that,
it wouldn't be a proper stream unless you have issues beforehand. I mean, come on now. That shows you're putting in the work.
That is very, 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 very true. I will definitely give you that one. So, but it's already not mind numbing on with the issues. Like, I don't know what it is. Like we were talking before the show, but like, man, when Windows decides to update, it decides to just say, hey, let's just throw a wrench into everything. And let's just have you start from square one and figure it all out again, So,
let's just change every single AV setting you have on your PC because we can.
Yeah, I know. Just because we can fix it easily, but we don't want to. But anyways, yeah, but it's all good, though. I'm glad we got it all fixed out. I'm really glad for y'all's patience. I really do appreciate that. So let's get down to business. Each of us choose a topic or discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry. And we also don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. If anyone that's listening or checking out the stream, you can definitely ask some questions on what we do on our discussions, and we'll put it in our podcast if it's a cool question or if it's a good question throughout the episode. So definitely stay tuned. Don't be shy. Just do it. That's all we need. That's all we ask. But anyways, so let's start with the first topic. You know what? Let's give it to one of the guests. I will give it to Brian. So what is it that's on your mind that you'd like to discuss?
So mine, technically, is from a couple weeks ago, but it is still fresh in everyone's mind. Basically, talking about the new classic mode in Final Fantasy VII Remake. Not so much what it is, but more what it's not, because all the mainstream media and even Square Enix is touting it as a turn-based mode, when in fact it is not a turn-based mode, or at least not in the same way that it was back in original Final Fantasy VII and pretty much every Final Fantasy game before 10 or before 11, I should say. And basically, like the main thing that I want to really talk about is the fact that it's dubbed as this classic mode. Basically, all it does is it allows you to not have to move around characters, and all you do basically during battles is choose what kind of magic you want to use. If you want to do limit breaks, like that kind of stuff, you don't move your characters, you don't defend, you don't do anything like that. So in essence, as opposed to being a turn-based mode, it's more like an easier mode. So and if you look at it on the menu, the videos that they have of it, it's listed in there as classic and then easy and then normal. So I'm viewing classic as easier and then easy and then normal. And I was talking about it with one of my other friends, and I'm not a game developer, but it seems to me like it wouldn't be that much effort to put an actual turn-based mode. And I should preface this by saying that I am an old school gamer, right? I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy 15. I didn't like Final Fantasy 13. Any of the more action-oriented Final Fantasies, I'm not really a fan of. And while Final Fantasy VII Remake might be a super awesome game, very few people know, because very few people have played it at this point, at least more than just the one demo mission that they've had at the various shows. I'm sure a lot of people are going to like Final Fantasy VII Remake for what it is. Problem that I have is, Square is making Final Fantasy VII Remake for the people that bought Final Fantasy 15 more so than they are for the people that really enjoyed Final Fantasy 7. And I'm sure there's a decent amount of crossover there. Like, I'm not saying that if you enjoyed 7, you didn't also enjoy 15 or vice versa. All I'm saying is that Square isn't going, hey, what would Final Fantasy 7 fans really like? They're going, hey, what has sold for us recently? Let's make it like that. And I don't think it'd be that much effort to really go in there and make it a proper turn-based mode. And when I say proper turn-based, all I mean by that is when you get into a certain proximity to an enemy, it does a little freeze screen, and however it transitions it into a static battle. And then all you have to do is you have the enemy on one side and you have all your characters lined up on the other side, and that's it, And to me, that isn't a ton of programming.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's not going to be something that you can just implement overnight, but you could probably put, a couple of people on it and have that implemented and bug tested within like a month. Because I don't think that that's something that's really that difficult to say, hey, when you get within this proximity of an enemy, go to this scene, and then take, for each area, you'll have whatever background it's going to use, line the enemy up here, line your party up here, and then go.
What's
that
funny?
Would be a classic mode.
You know what's funny to me about that, and it's actually kind of funny that you brought this up, because I didn't get a chance to play the turn base that they said that they were adding to the remake, but I did get a chance to do a behind closed door session at Tokyo Game Show last week on it, and the game style is beautiful, but like where it comes to your point on that, I'm totally agree with you on that, because the biggest thing was I've always had an issue with Square Enix, because like the games that we grew up on, like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, 9, and beyond before that and stuff, they had this fixation on turn based, but for some reason, like after 10, they just refuse to do it. Like they just think that that it's dead. Like and that's the mentality that I've always thought that Square Enix has always kind of gone through. And they feels like that when someone mentions turn based, because when you think about it, like think about like all the other games that's technically a Squaresoft game, but it's not Square. Like Octopath Traveler, for instance, it was made by a third party company that's owned by Square, or what's it called? I Am Setsuna. And stuff like that they made an RPG development because it was turn based, but they don't want to have the Squaresoft name on it. So like the biggest thing is like I feel like that to really say about what you're saying, Brian, is that they can do it, but they just don't want to, because I mean they could easily
what's
do
even
it.
funnier about Octopath Traveler is when it first started development, it was going to be a Final Fantasy game. Like it wasn't going to be a mainstream, but they were going to call it Final Fantasy whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like halfway through development, Square is like, we don't want this to have the Final Fantasy name. And that's when they changed it to Octopath Traveler. So like that was originally going to be a Final Fantasy game developed by a third-party studio. And Square's just like, no, it's turn-based. Don't want to do that. I mean, I'm sure there were other reasons, but they basically said this doesn't really fit within Final Fantasy. That's why they have World of Final Fantasy as well.
Mm-hmm.
As this kind of offshoot Final Fantasy game, where you've got, I don't know, like World of Final Fantasy was okay, but the whole stacking system, I'm like,
it was a weird system. Yeah, I mean, you could just say that it's just a really weird system. When it's like why do you want to stack your people on you? I mean, it's really weird. But I'm sorry, were you going to say something, Cutie? I didn't mean to. I thought I heard you.
Oh no, I just was really surprised to hear that about Octopath.
Uh-huh.
I just think it's really weird that they like refuse to go back to that kind of system because clearly people still like it.
Yeah.
Octopath's a really popular game, so it's really weird.
Oh no, you're totally. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, like I just feel like they just do not like turn-based. I mean, that's the mentality that I'm kind of getting from this. It's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Because like it's funny because the time that I do have to play on my own, there is a game I am playing right now that I am in love with right now. It's called Legends of Cold Steel. Oh no, Trails of Cold Steel on the PS4. It's a remake that came out on the PS3, and it's just a classic turn-based RPG, and it's great. But for some reason, it feels that like because then when you like because one of the things I couldn't stand on 15 was that it was just there was no like like trick to it. Like it was simple. You press X or you press you press the X button constantly, and there was like and you had to move around. It was kind of like it kind of felt like there was like I mean you had hard bosses, but there was no kind of skill to kind of get around all of that, and that's what really kind of didn't attune for me with 15 as much as I wanted it to be. But like for the most part, yeah, I mean I am totally on the same boat. I totally agree with you, Brian, when it comes to that. But they feel like they can. I think that I kind of think it could be just could it possibly be just maybe an artistic kind of view of what they were wanting, like a vision that they were wanting to kind of update with the times, I suppose. But I mean, it's hard to say.
I mean, like I don't have any problem with how Final Fantasy VII Remake is right now. Like my thing is, if you're gonna call Final Fantasy VII Remake, and you're gonna say that you're doing this for all the Final Fantasy VII fans, like I said, I don't think it'd be that much effort to put a proper turn-based mode in the game. And it's almost to me like a slap in the face for them to be like, hey, look, here's classic mode, when like really all that is you don't control your character basically at all. Like I'm just like, like because clearly they're hearing the outcry. And to be fair, it is a minority of players that are saying we want turn-based, so I understand that, but I feel like, like I don't expect Final Fantasy 16 to be turn-based or have a turn-based mode at all.
Mm-hmm.
But when I look at Final Fantasy VII Remake, and when I first heard it was announced, I was super excited. And then when I saw it was action-based, I'm like, oh, well, there goes my entire excitement, because I don't want to play an action-based Final Fantasy VII. They've done side games of Final Fantasy VII that were all action-based. I don't need a new Final Fantasy VII with all these awesome graphics to also be action-based. Or at least if it is action-based, add a turn-based mode.
Right.
Which, like I said, I don't think it'd be that much effort to do a proper turn-based mode instead of this kind of classic throwaway mode that they've given us.
Yeah.
And while you were talking, I actually pulled up sales of the series. Final Fantasy VII is the best-selling game at 13 million copies.
Wow.
Followed by Final Fantasy X at 10 million, and then Final Fantasy VI, and then 8, and then we get to Final Fantasy 15. And you have to keep in mind that Final Fantasy 15 is on PS4 and Xbox One, which are both significantly higher selling consoles than like the older Super Nintendo and NES and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, because you look at Final Fantasy VII, that was single platform. Final Fantasy 15 is on multiple platforms. It's on PC, Xbox One, and PS4, and still sold just a little more than half the number of copies as Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh God, you remember the Gambit system on Final Fantasy 12?
Yeah, well, so I was a really big fan of Final Fantasy 11 as an MMO.
Oh, I did too.
And I always thought of Final Fantasy 12 as like an offline version of 11. Obviously different story and everything, but I remember when I first played 12 and I went out and into the one of the random fields, and there was this NPC out there that I thought was an enemy because it was standing in like the field. So I'm like, oh, let me go over and fight this thing. And it casts heal on me, and I'm like, what? Why did this random thing cast heal on me? And I was like, because it makes it feel like you're playing with other players. Like, why is there a random player out here who's not a player because they're AI who just casts heal on me as I pass by? I'm like, really? Like, you're just trying to make this Final Fantasy 11 but offline.
Yeah, so. that's so weird. Well, when it comes to those kind of, because like I think 12 was the experiment. Because 11 was like its own thing. We don't. No one counts 11 to be its own. It's an MMO, which had an incredible story in my opinion. It will at the time. But 12 on they were trying to find a new niche that they could find in an RPG that was kind of like, I wouldn't say broken, because like 12 was the gambit system, 13 was more like, actively moving. People were constantly moving around and then doing these weird things, but then it got too complicated with their systems and stuff. And then if you noticed it, because like when they did all these kind of small tweaks and stuff, they're like, okay, 13 was a little complicated with like the arts and the chain links and all these different kinds of things that were going on. Let's dumb it down. Let's go to 15 and we'll make it simple. One person, which one of the biggest pet peeves I have in any kind of RPG is if you cannot control any of your guys, besides just one person, it just really pisses me off, because like I remember playing Persona 3 that way, and I was like, why can't I control 3 other people on my team? Like, it was ridiculous. But so when they did that, it was just showing that they're trying to find the next big thing. And then with 7, when you're looking for a company that's like convinced that they think that Turnbase is flawed, I would say, then I'm really not surprised that they were going that direction. I mean, it's unfortunate, because I still think Turnbase there's still a nice room of great games that are turn-based. Like, I mean, hell, look at Persona 5 for instance. It's like one of the biggest
or
things.
Even Dragon Quest, the most recent Dragon Quest. That's traditional turn-based.
Yeah, and Dragon Quest is the same company, which is funny to me. So like, it's like it's so weird to me that they just refuse to do it. And then it's like, but I don't know. It's like, it's so odd that they're kind of fighting against the waves with it. But especially for RPG people that like love RPGs.
They're trying to make it cater to a wider audience, and I understand that, because like if you look at like you said, the evolution, even just looking at 13, right? When 13 first came out, it was like, okay, this is a little bit harder. It was kind of closer to 12 and then to 15. Then you had 13-2, and that got a little easier. And then, Lightning Returns, that got a little easier.
Yep.
And then 15, where they just basically went straight action with
stripped
like RPG elements.
Yeah, they just stripped it. They essentially just stripped everything. But
and you can even look at the evolution from Final Fantasy 11 to Final Fantasy 14, right? Because that's MMO to MMO.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 11 was based off of EverQuest, right? Like, but that was the major influence for it. And it was a grind. I thoroughly enjoyed that grind.
I love the grind. The grind was
not
awesome.
An easy game to play.
Yeah.
Like it
wasn't
not
for
like
everybody.
When you joined a party in 11, you immediately knew if somebody was a bad player or not.
That's true.
Wait. Look at 14.
Were you going to say something, Cutie? I'm sorry. Did we? I thought you were going to say something.
I just had a quick question.
Yeah.
So I played 7, but not 8. So I know they did a remake for 8 as well. So is there no kind of mode like this for 8, or was 8 not turn-based?
Well, so they remastered 8, kind of like they remastered 10 and 12. Yeah, so it's not like a full remake. So like 8 is literally the exact same game, just a little bit better looking graphic. Gotcha. And when I say a little bit, I mean like, yeah.
No, that was a night and day. That was a night and day difference. You had like block, okay. Originally, you remember like blocky cloud in 7, like in those like in the blocky chibi cloud. Yeah, that was non-existent in 8. Like they actually had the character sprites. I mean, even though in distances they were still kind of blotchy, but they, for the most part, they were still like a tall person and stuff like that. That like it was very nice. But for the most part, no. I mean, before we move on this, Brian, though, I do have a question. Which Final Fantasy would you say is your favorite one?
So 11 is my favorite, just because I have so many memories with friends and stuff of playing 11 and like that grind with every class from 1 to 75. 75 cap 11, I should say. We don't talk about when they raise the cap beyond 75, right? So 75 cap 11.
Okay, fair enough.
Would be my favorite. If we're talking offline Final Fantasy, I'll say 9.
9. Oh god, dude, you're like a mirror image of me right now. But yeah, the 11. Oh god, you remember Chains of Promethea, the expansion of Chains of Promethea? Oh god, I remember. And you remember, like, it was, like you said, it was not an easy game. But you remember when you had to go to the different accesses, like at the very beginning of the quest to do it, like you had to go to 3 different spires. We had a disc. I remember, like, you're totally right about memories, but like I remember the close one was that this was like when Chains just came out, and it was really hard to take those spires down. and when we got a disconnect when we were at the very end. We were about to fight the boss.
Oh.
Yeah, and we were like, oh god, it's like, so I guess it was a wipe because we were like in this thing for like 2 hours, and we were like, I guess we're screwed. There's nothing we can do about it. It's like, well, we can still fight and see where it goes, and then so we did it, and we actually beat the guy. Beat the guy at the time, and we were like so hyped. We were on this like we all like gave each other a pat on the backs. We all like said, oh, hey, let's join a link shell, and we'll make a link shell, and we'll do all these different kinds of things. And then like we all grouped up because we felt so accomplished in doing that. But 11 was one of my favorite. Like that was the only MMO I was actually serious about. Everything else,
same here. Like I was,
I love that game. Yeah, you're right.
I can't even listen to music from that game without like getting sentimental.
Yes, that's very true. I mean, I played that game for I think like 5 years. It was a good game. It was a great game though. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say something? Did you say something again, Kitty? Broke up.
I was asking, you guys didn't play any classic WoW back in the day?
Oh God,
nope.
No. Like, okay, this is my whole thing with WoW. Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with WoW at all. I mean, well,
it's easy mode.
Yeah, it's like when I played the game, the second I played that game, I was like, why am I fighting? Why do I have to kill like 20 rabbits for this one stupid quest that I don't even care about? Like, and then it's just a whole list of different kinds of things of like just busy work, and then I felt like I'm not being really truly accomplished unless I was actually playing the main story quest. But like even that wasn't fun. It was because like the story wasn't really that cool. Was really that cool. I think I was Burning Crusade was where it was at when I started playing, but when I tried playing it, and I was like, no, this is not the same as 11. 11's story was really good.
Oh my God, so amazing.
Yeah, like I think I stopped at Treasures of Octagon. I think that was the last one I stopped at playing. But Chains of Prometheus is probably by far my favorite storyline of them all. So like I can't, nothing compares to that. And then but I can't tell anyone to come by and play. I will not tell someone to play it because it's not the same kind of style as it was like that long ago. But still, it was something that I will cherish throughout my time though. So
now they do have classic servers for it, not like WoW Classic where it's an official thing, but like people have private servers where they have like the older versions of the game on there still.
Oh
really?
Yeah. It's obviously not anywhere nearly as populated, and they've got different mods. Like different servers will have like power leveling mods and things like that. So like it makes it some quality of life changes.
Yeah.
It's not the same, obviously as it was when it was active at the level 35 cap. But I played all the way up until I think Wings of the Goddess. I think was my last
that was
expansion.
right. Wings of the Goddess was the one. You're right. I passed that. Wings of the Goddess was the last one I played. I didn't really touch Wings that much though, but still, and that's for them MMOs nowadays. There's no way in hell I have the time to do it. So there we go.
I tried playing some Final Fantasy 14, and it was too easy. Like don't get me wrong. Like obviously, if you're running. Like I remember when I first started playing, and the Bahamut's Coil or Coil, whatever it was called, I don't remember. That was like really difficult to do, but it was difficult because almost of the server lag, right? Because like when I first started playing 14, I was playing on PS3, and it had crazy server lag to the point where like you would see the little circle of saying where the enemy is going to attack, and you'd literally have like 2 seconds to move after you saw the circle because of all the server latency. I switched to PS4 when that came out. It got a little better. I switched to PC, got a little better. But like in 11, the challenge was like how well you played your class and how well you fought the enemy that you're fighting. In 14, the skill is in do you know whatever pattern it is to avoid the enemy attacks? You know?
They give you the ring of circle, the ring of fire, and all that stuff. Yeah, dude, I knew it. I remember like I was a ninja in the 11, and I was like. You got to blink at the right time so you can tank it correctly and stuff like that. And then there was no like cheat timers or anything. It was actually pretty. It was crazy. No, but I loved it.
That's what I was saying. Like you knew if somebody was good at their job in 11. You know what I mean? Like you knew if somebody was a decent ninja because they took no damage and they held hate.
Yeah.
Because I remember partying with several ninjas where I'm just like, wow, you cannot hold hate like at all. You know.
Well, we're digressing extremely, but anyways. All right, QTPye, it's you're up at bat. What do you have to bring on the table?
So my topic kind of focused around Twitchcon, which is going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it'd be important to bring up since we've had a slew of events like CEO, Evo, where people have been concerned about like safety and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if you guys saw like the like mass viral tweets about TwitchCon leaving out like the table full of beers and like sodas
yes.
unattended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a huge problem, and even though they got all that backlash on Twitter like the first day, they haven't changed it throughout the weekend. So there have been some people that were like concerned about their safety, and a few people were actually hospitalized and like had some stuff in their system. So I think like it's starting to become a big issue for people that go to events, especially with what happened at the Evo after party. It's kind of scary.
I don't know what happened at the Evo after party. What happened at the Evo after party? I didn't go.
Oh, so at the Evo after party, basically, notable player's girlfriend had her drink roofied, and then
wow,
another male player had taken a drink that was meant for his female friend, and he was roofied as well.
Jeez,
so
man.
It was a big scare. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing.
Yeah, there's also been a lot of allegations about certain notable players, putting those roofies in drinks and taking people up their hotel rooms and stuff. And
yeah,
there's been a lot of stuff coming out of that Evo after party.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah,
but like,
with that happening, a lot of accusations from previous events then arose. Like, some people are saying this happened to me at Combo Breaker or CEO. So it seems to be like a recurring issue.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really seem like, to me, it doesn't look like TwitchCon is really taking it very, very seriously, with the drink still being left that way 2 days later.
Okay, I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate.
For the drinks, are you talking about those ones that have like the pictures of the streamers on them? Because I saw drinks where like they put the picture of the streamer on it, or is that completely different?
No, what happened was that what they did originally.
They have, like they have all these different like party areas and like partner parties, and they have these long tables of like red Solo cups where there's like open beer and open soda that they just fill up and leave there. And I guess these tables are not attended all the time. So a lot of people were just kind of concerned about even anyone taking those drinks. And I know that as of this morning, 3 people did say that they had to visit the hospital because they had something in their drinks last night.
Okay, but here's what I'm saying though. Like, I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate here.
There's been nothing like official from Twitch at all. So like, have they acknowledged it?
No, not at all.
Hey, wait, can y'all hear me?
That's what I found interesting about the Evo incident as well. Is that Evo recently did a poll talking about what hitboxes are legal and that kind of stuff, and I'm like, so you'll publicly talk about hitbox, but you won't publicly talk about all this stuff that went on at the after party. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Exactly.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too. I did see like some of the other events like put out like tweets and posts about how they take things like that seriously, and people will be banned if they're caught, or banning people that were proven to have done certain actions. But we never did hear anything from Evo or their official TOs. So it is kind of a concern that these events that are like so big and notable that a lot of us would aim to go to each year, they don't really seem to be acknowledging it, or maybe not taking it seriously.
But I think, and you would think, especially following like the big Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff, you think that they take extra care to make sure that, because a lot of the influencers at TwitchCon are female,
Yeah.
So I think it's really interesting that Twitch is not kind of taking that more seriously, because if it happened to like one of the big ones, like if it happened to like Pokemon or something, then Twitch would immediately be like, oh, hold on, you know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I'm going to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here, and it's kind of and I'm not saying it in any way, because I mean this is very serious and stuff, but it's possible. I'm just saying it's very possible that Twitch didn't think about. I mean, because Twitch isn't really I don't think Twitch didn't think that would be a possibility. They were giving they were thinking that that people are not that evil in a sense. Let's just say that, because I mean that's what it is. Like I feel like nowadays, especially nowadays, is that you can't give room to like that kind of level of thinking nowadays, because there are people that are going to take advantage of it, and now I'm not going to say for right now until I get more information about people being sick, the people saying that they were roofied at TwitchCon, because I mean now the problem on that is that you're at a streaming convention, and now you got people that could easily say, oh, I got roofied because of this, when everyone knows that this is happening. But at the same time though, TwitchCon needs to Twitch needs to be aware that isn't I mean, come on, you can't just leave open containers of alcohol on a table unattended and not expect
even just soda.
Yeah, it's
not even soda.
That's just as bad as just leaving a loaded weapon and give it to a baby and just close the door. I mean, it's just it's very it's dumb. It's very, very stupid. But I really feel that Twitch maybe have just thought that this was they gave people benefit of the doubt, that these people will they'll be like, okay guys, we trust you that you're not gonna do this to people, but you know how people are nowadays. It's you cannot take that risk anymore.
Looking at the other side of it though, I think Twitch, of all people, of all companies, should be well aware of that, because it seems like every other week that they're banning somebody for saying a derogatory term or streaming from a bathroom or whatever. You know what I mean? I feel like that is a constant thing on Twitch, right?
Twitch is full of double standards. Yeah. No, you're totally right.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
And I also feel I think it was last year's TwitchCon, they had Coke bottles, because, they had those Coke bottles that had names on them, right? You could go buy them at the store or whatever. And I remember last year, maybe the year before last, they had Coke bottles, but if they put the names of every streamer on them. So I'm like, was it? I can't imagine it was a cost-saving measure to just get solo cups. When you've got Little Dicky playing your opening party or whatever, cost clearly isn't an issue, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So
was it really?
Last year?
Yeah. They had Little Dicky played. I don't know if it was someone else's party or whatever, but it was all the influencers that were at the opening night party, whether it was Twitch or sponsored by somebody else, had Little Dicky there, and I'm like, if you can afford Little Dicky to play your party.
Not only that, though, 2 years ago it was Marshmallow. So, I'm just so I can't even, I mean, you're totally right. I mean, money is definitely not an option. I mean, shoot, I mean, they're owned by Amazon. So, there's no
Amazon.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
I know you said that Twitch is full of double standards at TwitchCon. It's completely, unrelated to the roofie situation, but I don't know if you guys heard, but another famous streamer, he usually does IRL streams. He got banned for 2 weeks for asking for someone's phone number at TwitchCon,
what?
A staff member.
Yeah.
Is there something else to it, or he did just hey, can I have your phone number? They're you're banned.
No, there was something else.
It was invasion of privacy.
There was something else to that though, because I saw the video of it, and it was the fact that the person that he asked the person's phone number for was not only was part of Twitch staff, but the person also said that she did not want to be on camera, and he never changed the camera view out of it. So what happened was that now it wasn't because of the phone number. It was more on the fact that since they didn't want to be on camera, and he kept on filming. So that would make the most sense.
And that's why it's invasion of privacy.
Yeah, that's why it's invasion of privacy. So
okay.
Yeah, so it does make sense. But then again, though, too, I mean, that dude was I saw the video. I was like, man, okay. So he's because he comes up and he says I haven't had a girlfriend in a while, and and it's that was his pickup line, was to start it all out. And I was like, what is going on here? This does not sound this is going to go well. So yeah.
So the question that I have then, this is the first I've heard of this. So the question I have is, was he doing it as a joke? Was he trying to entertain his audience, or did he actually want her phone number and that? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because on Twitch, I feel like it could go either way.
Yeah, he was entertaining. He was definitely entertaining the audience.
Okay,
I mean,
so he wasn't actually hey, I haven't a girlfriend in a while. What's your he was trying to be entertaining about it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, but no, you're totally right. You know what? I'm actually surprised though. This year's TwitchCon is more tame on the different kinds of things. Because you remember last year's thing about that one guy who said that he feels that he's better than his than his viewers or whatever and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, there was a lot of other crazy stuff that was happening, and I was on ground zero on that one, and that one was but to say that this year it's actually much more tamer, I would say that. Than what it was the years before. So, but you're totally right though. you would think that immediately Twitch would just do something about that over kind of getting back to your deal.
At least make a statement, right? At least say something.
Something. I mean, it's kind of weird that you would that what's even worse is that if you're doing this in multiple days, that means that you're kind of being a little tone deaf about it. So that's like so that's like saying
my biggest concern.
Yeah.
2 days or 3 days after the tweets went viral about this, it's like the tables of the cups are still there. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't understand. But I kind of feel like I don't envy Twitch at all, because part of my job is dealing with some of these influencers, and some of them have like the biggest egos. Like they think they're just like megastars. And granted, you look at like a Ninja or Dr. Lupo, like they have essentially celebrity status, right? But I'm talking more like the people that have say 100K followers or something like that. You know, that stream to like 500 people or 1,000 people. Yeah. Like they just think like, oh, because I'm being paid to be at this event or whatever, I have all these privileges and stuff. And it's like, no, dude, I don't even know who you are.
The ego is real, definitely. You're totally right. The ego's funny because like I think like really one of the biggest streamers when I'm on Twitch, I usually don't like to follow like or I'm not really big on on knowing big followers and stuff. I like kind of seeing the underbelly, like finding the person that's playing the weirdest games and stuff like that. But the ones I do, I mean, besides Maximilian, dude, I've always loved his content. But the one that the biggest guy I know was Co Carnage, and like you don't hear anything about like the stuff that happens with Co Carnage though. But like he's a big hit, but he's a really big Twitch streamer, and he's been around there forever. And it's like, but you don't hear anything about like, you don't hear any crazy dramas about it. That's the one thing. That's how you know you're doing something right, though. That's the way like that, and I mean, this is my own opinion. I'm not a big fan of like in real life IRL streamers because of that. It's like because they're just trying to get the shock value as well as like what's the next big thing and stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. I mean, that's your own that's your own prerogative to do it, but it's like, but just to act a fool to a point that you're going to be causing this much of a commotion, it's definitely not worth it to me, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, but anyways, that was cool. That was a good topic, Cutie. I definitely like that. A good one to bring. Okay, so mine on the table. I'm gonna bring it to. Bring it to a game. Back to gaming a little bit. This one, it was about Call of Duty. Surprisingly enough, so. I'm not a big Call of Duty fan, but the thing that Call of Duty is doing, I wanted to kind of get y'all's pick y'all's mind on. Like, so basically, on Polygon itself, they announced this. They announced more information about this year's version of Call of Duty that's coming out. But the thing that, and I'm like, okay, cool, it's more Call of Duty. I don't care. But the thing that kind of got my interest was that Call of Duty is giving an exclusive mode to PS4, specifically for PS4, and then the exclusivity deal is a year long, and it's like the shelf. That's
all that matters in Call of Duty.
Yeah, the shelf life of a Call of Duty game is a year, so it's virtually a year. Excuse me. So this mode's called Spec Ops Survival Mode, and it's a feature that's specifically in this year's Call of Duty, and it's not a brand new mode. It's something that they've had since I believe like I don't know, like 4 or 5 Call of Duties ago or so. But the big question is, it's like how do you feel like that itself, exclusivity on a mode, is like that's a little ridiculous to me. Like, to say that you're going, like, I mean, I can understand an exclusive stage. I can understand maybe an exclusive, like character that on the system, that because it's a character that maybe like if Call of Duty had what's his name from Gears of War, it's going to be specifically on the Xbox One because it's an Xbox character. Yeah. Makes sense. But like to say that, like, if you're to put a mode of to play, like to try out, it to be on a specific system for the longevity of the game, like a year, like it's kind of like if Madden decided to say, hey, we're going to have franchise mode, but only on PS4. You know, it's like something for a year long. It's like, don't you feel like that's going to hurt the game, or do you feel like it? And even for the consumer, It's like a consumer who doesn't like, let's say, doesn't like PlayStation and loves their Xbox One and stuff, but they're a big hardcore fan of Call of Duty. It's like, don't you feel like that's kind of screwing the consumer as well? Like what do y'all think? What do y'all think about like exclusivity deals like that? Like to that extent? Like how do y'all feel about that?
I mean, to me, this is Activision making a cash grab like they always do.
It's nothing different with Activision.
Yeah, I'm sure Sony paid a lot more than, because Sony has the advertising rights, right? Which is why like DLC first on PS4 as opposed to last console cycle when it was DLC first on 360. So I feel like Sony paid even more for this mode. At least I would hope so. I hope it's not Activision going, well, what can we give Sony this year since it's part of the contract? Oh, let's give them this mode free. I hope that wasn't the case, right? I hope Sony's like, here's a ton of money. Do something bigger if we can or whatever. But I definitely think like it's an issue, especially since this year is the first year it's going to have crossplay. Oh, yeah. I'm like, how do you sit there and announce crossplay for the first time ever in Call of Duty? And then, at the end of that sentence be like, oh, by the way, but here's this mode that's only exclusive to PS4 for a year. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just... It reminds me of Call of Duty with their league, how they're alienating teams by making it a franchise model, trying to be like Overwatch. It's Activision making mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. No, well, that is like a kid word. We talked about that the other day too. We were like, what the hell are they thinking about that one? That was like the amount of money that they were putting in, or wanting franchises to put in on that is just insane. I don't even understand like how that will work. But coming to that though too, like, I mean, like, just in general, like, what if this is like a norm that could essentially like, stretch to other things or so, like let's say any kind of specific, like any multi-platform game could essentially say, oh, you can get this mode, but this is an Xbox One exclusive, or this mode. I mean, like when loot crates were created. When all that was initially created, it started somewhere, and then it just grew because it was like, oh, we made buku bucks, and this was a really good grab, and then we could justify it saying, hey, this is good. This is justify us to run to have a team. To update and upgrade and stuff like that for it. It's like, I just feel like this is like a can of worm that we're opening with this kind of logic. I mean, it just seems really, it's kind of scary in a way, but it's kind of at the same time, it's not my surprise that they would do something like this, like you said, with Kotick and Activision to do something like this. And
well, I mean, like, I think part of the issue is that gamers don't vote with their wallet. Like, everyone's going to buy Call of Duty this year, and a majority of people are going to buy the PS4 version because of this. Even though there's a lot of angry outrage to it right now, Activision's like, all right, well, the game's still going to sell just as much as it always does. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be one thing if all of a sudden Call of Duty sales took a 20% hit, because people were like, nope, I'm not doing Call of Duty this year. But that's not going to be the case. Like, Call of Duty is, I'm sure 3 days after release, Activision is going to be announcing, oh, we broke this record and that record and all this kind of stuff, so in the end, there's outrage now. And then in 2 months, Activision is going to be like, yep, we're still rolling in money. So clearly you guys didn't care that much. Now next year, we're going to do a mode for PS4, then a different mode for Xbox, and then a different mode for the PS5 version. So you can buy that one too. You know what I mean? Like that's if this is successful for them, that's where it's going to go.
That's what's scary.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I
think that.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I've talked a lot already.
On this topic, I think that it definitely kind of screws the PC and Xbox consumers, but in my opinion, I know a lot of people debate over which console's better. I feel like right now, PS4 is kind of in a better place, and a lot more people may have PS4. I feel like those gamers that play these shooters on PC or Xbox are kind of a minority to PS4 gamers. So I don't think it will really like generally affect things, but I don't like the idea that they're doing this because I feel like any other game can just pick up the same logic, and soon it'll just it might get a little out of control or annoying to have every console or have to worry about that being a thing if you're passionate about a franchise.
Yeah, that's true. Lucentai just said it is very true that people say one thing and end up supporting with the money, with the dollar signs, and it's a shame though too, because like, you know, it's funny because like there, can you imagine one time like where when you know that this is kind of like an injustice, and then you know you don't have to tell people that like don't buy this or don't do this, they just know it's wrong. And then they just didn't do it. Yeah, you know, the only time that I've really ever encountered that, the most recent I'd say would be Battlefront 2 when it first came out. Because like no one, people refused to get that because they saw how aggressive the microtransactions and the loot crate boxes were in that for that game. And it's unfortunate because the game is actually not bad, but at the same time, it's like you don't want to give your money to like a bad for that kind of you know, incentives to give like EA to totally like make it even worse for you. So like exactly. You're totally right about Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty is a big enough since it's been around forever. It's already has its like their loyal fans to play the games and stuff, and they're going to probably get like if they don't have one now, they'll probably possibly get one just to play that one mode for the whole year. But there's going to be a time where it's like you're gonna have to ask yourself, like, man, is this what we're going to, is this just the gate, like is this going to be the gate that's going the last straw that's going to break the camel's back right there? Because that's what I'm worried about. It starts with Call of Duty, but it could just spill over with other stuff. Like you can easily see how maybe like let's say Square Enix or something sees how successful this becomes, and then they decide to try to implement that in one of their other games or something like that, or like you know, just something like that. It just is what kind of fears I'm always kind of worried about when I see stuff like this.
You want turn-based mode in Final Fantasy VII Remake? PS4 only.
PS4 only on PS4. Yeah, though, right? Like that's exact, or it's DLC or some kind of random BS or something like that, or the expansion or of some sort, you know. So like that's like when you see like that's like it seems small now, but I'm just looking in a bigger picture that I feel that it's just like you want to keep an eye on these kind of small things, because these small things becomes bigger issues in the future. Like
the only thing that I'll say toward that is I do think if say next year, like, you know, Call of Duty is going to sell just like it is this year as it has every single previous year. If next year if they go, okay, here's the PS5 exclusive mode, here's the PS4 exclusive mode, here's the Xbox One exclusive mode, here's the Scarlet exclusive mode, and here's the Nintendo Switch exclusive mode, right?
Right.
If they went that far, or even just push it, here's the PS4 exclusive mode, here's the PS5 exclusive mode, right? I think at that point, gamers would be like, well, hold on. We let you get away with it last year. We're not going to let you take it to the next level. So I do think at that point, then gamers would start speaking with their wallet. But the other problem is general education, right? Like the average person that buys Call of Duty probably doesn't even know this is a thing. You know, like the average person that just knows Call of Duty is coming out in a month or whatever, you know, is going to go to Best Buy or order off of Amazon or whatever, and is going to be completely oblivious until like their one nerd friend goes, oh, hey, did you know that this mode's only in PS4? Then go, really? Oh, I'm glad I bought this version, and that's going to be it, you know?
I don't know about that though, because like, come on, Call of Duty fans, if anyone has big wallets, because like throughout the times with the giant map packs, the different years of the different kinds of deals, yeah, there's so much stuff that you have to get extra from within that year, because you remember like I don't even know. Let's just say, I mean, I don't even matter what version of Call of Duty, but there was like, it was the norm when there was like, hey, you want to buy Call of Duty? It's like, yeah, it's $60. Oh, you want to buy the year map pack? It's going to be $90 for the year map pack because it's going to have all this extra crap and stuff. It's like Call of Duty fans are expecting that extra sort of income, or that extra kind of money that you're going to have to put into this game, which is going to be a lot different this year because there's no extra map packs. They say it's going to be a whole game, but we'll see about that. But like but when you're talking about the common people or so, I would say specifically maybe it's just like the mom or the dad that buys the game without even openly knowing that this is this is what's going to happen and stuff like that itself. Because like I said, I think I will give Call of Duty fans benefit of the doubt that they know what they're going to get themselves into. But still, I will say that like the fact that they are going to and it may not be a big deal. Maybe I'm just making it a big deal on how it is, but I'm just saying that
I mean, there's been backlash, so people are definitely upset about it. I don't play Call of Duty, so I didn't care, but there's been backlash. Like people are definitely upset about this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not a big like the last Call of Duty I played was Modern Warfare, and that was a long time ago. But like,
that's the new one too.
It's like, you got to play it. It's like, yeah, no, it's the original. It's the original, like 2008 or so. But like, no, but like, but I like to keep my eyes open. I like to keep my eyes open on these kind of situations on this, because like I said, this is an event. This could be like the cornerstone event that they will decide to be more aggressively on doing it. Like what's it called? 2K. Remember 2K is very aggressive on their microtransactions on their currency as for their extra third-party accessories and stuff like that, and they are still doing it, which is even crazier.
Because people are still buying them.
Yeah, people are still buying them. You're totally right. And then like, even knowing that that there's no transparency on how those drop rates are working, they're still openly getting fistful of cash for it. But still, like, those kind of things are the kind of things that may not concern other people, but for me, like, it's hard for me to buy DLC. It's really hard for me to decide to say, hey, you want to do an advancement of the story for $10? You can just go buy this. But I'm like, no, I already beat it. I'm good. I don't need an extra hour of play just to find out the backstory of this person and stuff like that. I'll pass. It's like,
but that's the thing though. DLC is always optional. Like that's the thing. I don't have a problem with DLC like that. I have a problem with DLC horse armor, right? But DLC for Spider-Man, here's here's all your DLC that gives you additional story. For fighting games, here's more characters that we can add for the next, like Tekken. Tekken's had 3 seasons of DLC characters. They've added Tekken Bowl. They're adding a new mode with season 3. Like, they're doing all this stuff, and I'm cool with that, right? Because to me, that's like, oh, I'm getting more out of my game for just spending another couple of dollars or whatever, right?
Right.
A character in Tekken's like $5 or whatever, right? So that I don't mind. But when it's like, cosmetic DLC, I mean, I guess optional DLC, whatever, right? Do what you want. But when it's clearly an unfinished game and the game is finished via DLC, that's when I have a problem.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I kind of like I would love to pick my own DLC, but that's a whole totally different discussion in itself. But so no, that's cool. That's cool. But I definitely like the discussion about this one. So let's we can wrap it up on this. And but as always, this is episode number 22 of CFG Gamecast. You can always check out CFG Games and the awesome crew at CFG Games every day on our Twitch CFG Games. We play a lot of variety games. I think Larry, this evening we're going to be playing some Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and we always welcome new people to come check it out. So definitely check us out there. QTPye, you want to support your channel?
Yeah, I like to stream mostly just Tekken. Trying to stream more retro games like Third Strike and Street Fighter 4. So follow me at twitch.tv/QTPyeX.
And Bryan Dawson is just here to look pretty today. So
I don't stream. I'm not even really all that social as far as social media goes. Social media wise, I have friends. Just I don't post on social media that often.
Yeah, no. No, he's definitely a good dude, man. But if you do check him out, he's always usually at gaming shows and conventions and stuff, though, right?
Yeah.
But you just even running away from that. You go.
Yeah, I don't even. When's my? I'll be at. I don't know.
You don't have to. You don't have to advertise yourself if you don't want to. I'm not forcing you to do that, but that's cool. But
I'll be at South by Southwest next year, and WonderCon and San Diego Comic Con next year. You'll see me there doing whatever gaming event is happening there. You'll see me at those.
Okay, there we go. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Davis has paused time again.
Oh, I did? Oh, well, it doesn't seem like that for me, but that's cool. All right, well, this is episode number 22. Thanks for stopping by.
Great. Do you want to say anything else while we're waiting on